darkness, and he...
Then yes, Jar Jar. Is the correct path.
Okay.
That's a good episode as well.
Very good. Very well done. And now you can see the conspiracy that Jar Jar Binks is Darth Jar Jar.
Mm-hmm. I maintain.
So we've talked about Star Wars for a while. Let's talk about Star Trekkie and how Kurtzman has ruined Star Trek.
Yeah, well, it started with JJ when he did the new films because everyone's got they have a boner. Well, speaking of which, we actually have our first super chat.
Ooh, go ahead and read the super chat.
YouTube can suck my space balls. Thank you, Rico Ting.
Outstanding. Thank you, Rico Ting, for that Rumble rant. They can suck our balls too.
Space balls, yes. What's that coming out of its nose? Space balls. There goes the planet.
There goes the planet. Exactly.
Yes. I may watch that later today. I haven't watched it for a while, so.
So Kurtzman did a particularly weird thing. He tried to make Star Trek into Star Wars, and Rian Johnson tried to make Star Wars into Star Trek. And they all expect so Kurtzman and what's his name also thought they were going to make billion-dollar movies out of Star Trek, which is why they failed miserably. None of them were billion-dollar movies to begin with. Okay, and they also had a budget in them that was acceptable to the production cost.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's why you won't see another Kurtzman Star Wars or Rian Johnson or Star Trek from them because they have no budget for them.
Well, no, I mean, there's a running gag of as Ryan. It was remember when Miss Kennedy keeps announcing all these projects and they never come to fruition or they collapse. Was it 2018? It was announced that Rian Johnson would get a trilogy.
Yep.
Yeah, he's made 2 films since then. They're both Knives Out. And to me, when I watched it, it was a thrill. I just wanted to know who. I couldn't rewatch it because it's a murder mystery. It's like, who did it? And you find out, it was them. Won't watch it again now. I know how that ends. And apparently there's a sequel. And I know of one person who's talked about it.
Yeah. And I thought it was a different movie, and I haven't seen it. And it was the Night of Long Knives. I don't remember. It was some fucking other movie.
Knives Out.
Knives Out, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it's basically the Daniel Craig character in a different situation. So you can't remake the original film. It's just basically Daniel Craig, an Englishman, doing a interesting Southern accent.
Yep.
And that's about it.
Well, also, if people in the chat room have questions for us as we are talking about modern cinema, wokedom, and all that other stuff, we've had a really fun conversation about Star Wars and the history of it and the experiencing of it. And as Kathleen Kennedy goes out, and it's for sure now, she's going to be, they've leaked her retirement package. She's going to get a $30 million retirement package. She's still desperately trying to hang on. But the new thing is they're going to give her what's called a Viking funeral send-off.
Well,
and the only reason they're doing it is because she has so much dirt on everyone in Hollywood that they have to do it this way. But once they finally get her out of Star Wars, do you think it's redeemable?
Yes, because you can see what the Bad Batch has done, as well as The Mandalorian. Even though the Book of Boba Fett is basically the same production crew, it just didn't work. Well, for me anyway. It was like, However, that but the Mandalorian, because remember there was that rumor there was a civil war in Lucasfilm.
And there was. If you watch Cameron Pasha or Renegade, Valiant Renegade, or WDW Pro, they tell a lot of what actually happened because they have got the Disney insiders there. So the entire Boba Fett series was ruined by Kathleen Kennedy. Absolutely ruined. It was not supposed to be the way it came out. She came in and destroyed it from beginning to end.
Well, yeah. Who were the two writers, directors of Solo? Weren't they the guys that did the Lego movie?
Lego Star Wars, yeah.
No, just the Lego movie, not the Star Wars one, but the Lego movie. Which
I thought it was Lego Star Wars. Okay, the Lego movies, yeah.
Yeah, the Lego movie. You've seen the Lego movie, haven't you?
I have.
Yeah. If you want those people with children, if you want to help them start to awaken, put that on. The amount of disclosure in that film is scary, but it comes through as comedy, and so you could dismiss it. Like there is one bit. I mean, Chris Pratt does the voice of the main character,
right?
And there's a bit. I can't remember. I haven't watched that for a while because I just knew it was brilliant. I just love how the premise of the statement is. I love how corporations run everything in my life. And it's like a small rant. He goes for about 20 seconds, which is a long time. And then at the end, it was like, wait a minute. And then they cut to something else.
I would have liked to seen what the Lego guys had done for Solo before Kathleen Kennedy came in and destroyed it.
Yeah, 80%, 90% of principal photography.
Finished. Yeah.
And she didn't like it because it was played as a comedy.
Right. Which it should have been.
And then Ron Howard came in and had to fix it under Kathleen's tutelage. Right. And you get what it is. And it's like, apparently the rebellion at that time was run by a 16-year-old girl.
Right. And the more, it's like, so recently Valiant Renegade, WDW Pro, and Midnight's Ad have been talking about the retirement of Kathleen Kennedy and how much money she's lost from Hollywood and why she's getting this big retirement ceremony. And it's because she's got blackmail dirt on everyone. But they added it up. She, as a producer, compared to all of her other movies, has lost $42 billion in her career. Ouch. How does that person stay in power? That person stays in power because of blackmail.
Yeah, she knows where the bodies are buried.
Right. Okay.
Because, one way of looking at her career, she was just standing behind Spielberg.
Right. She and her husband started Amblin Entertainment.
Oh, okay. I thought that was Spielberg, but okay, yeah.
No, she and her husband started Amblin Entertainment.
Yeah.
As producers. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, but the thing is, all her major hits, it's never been her.
Never.
It's been standing next to George Lucas or standing next to Steven Spielberg, and I'm sure she's done the work and there's merit there, but by herself, Lucas. In hindsight, Lucas may have made a mistake, but he would have seen enough where he's like, I can hand the reins over to her. I think. Did he hand over the reins?
Just a producer, no creative.
Yeah.
And that's what she was hired for, even though she's an awful producer. See, those early movies where they had great success, where she was a producer, it was her minions doing the work. And as Hollywood minions got stupider and stupider and stupider and stupider, as woke mafia took over, her minions got to be useless fucks.
Yeah.
Okay? And she no longer had her minions to do her work.
Yeah, and you can tell.
And you can absolutely tell. Right.
Well, look, the idea of a story group in Lucasfilm for Star Wars is a brilliant idea because they turned the extended universe into Legends, and so its own little timeline. But they stopped creating in that, so you can still get it, but there's an end.
Right.
However, the idea was with the story group now, comics, novels, video games, TV shows, movies. Am I missing anything else?
You got comics, graphic novels, etc.
I started with comics. That was all supposed to be one story, which makes sense because
Right.
it's a vast universe and you want everything. So something in a comic may pop up in a movie. Now you don't have to read the comic because it should be, if it's done well, you can just watch the movie. Should be self-contained. But that's what part of the expanded universe is to add to the story instead of just being the story where Darth Vader 6, this happens, and we're not going to tell anyone else. And then the result of that's going to be in the movie, which makes no fucking sense at all. However, they fucked up straight up because they were making the movies too quickly. Like George started Star Wars and then released it and then started working on Empire. So there was no overlap. It's like, well, get this out. He even did that with the prequels 1, 2, and 3. He finished. The film was released, and then he started working on the next one the day after or something like that.
Well, he had a script, but they started principal filming or initial shoot filming right after it was released. Yes.
Yeah, like he focused on the one and then he moved on to the next one. He may have done a treatment or he knew the story, which makes sense because you, as The Last Jedi points out, you kind of need to know where you're going.
Exactly.
And so he would have a lot of the concepts between 1 and 2 and 3. And so you could have that through line. Now, obviously, the script wasn't written, but you would have the main chunk of like where it's going, everything else like that. The thing is, I've forgotten. I've lost my train of thought now.
Star Wars, Lucasfilm, the throughput.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yeah. The Force Awakens, Last Jedi started production, not filming, but production before Force Awakens was released. And so in the novelization of The Force Awakens, Rey meets Poe.
Yep.
At the end, where she's at the Rebel base. Then she meets Poe again in The Last Jedi. So the story group fails already.
Right. Now, this is the next thing. Disney forced those movies out before they were ready and didn't have directors secured to long-term contracts, which is Kathleen Kennedy's other major failure. She thought you can get somebody to come in and do one Star Wars movie and leave. No, you can't. You need a consistent team all the way through the entire thing.
For the saga, yes, you need it. That's the thing about Rian Johnson. He made his art film. And as I said earlier, it's like you can't hear. And the Lord said that I will rest on the 7th day. Gargamel and Papa Smurf. I'm like, well, wait. Go back. You can't change. If he made a saga film, he could prove himself and then make his art film. And that's what the problem. That's why they brought JJ back. And that was the problem with The Rise of Skywalker. They were trying to course correct without saying we're course correcting. Right. And yeah, and also if you watch it, like you've also got the six episodes which rhyme, and they don't copy each other, but they rhyme. They all have the thing, like every one of them in those 6 films has, I have a bad feeling about this. There's running gags, there's certain sayings, there's certain things. Everything just links together. Then you have the remake. I came up with this idea after The Force Awakens. There's the remake, the mistake, and then oh, for fuck's sake. and guess what happened? And that's what happened. Like because it's like the remake. Oh, okay. Then like the mistake of like no, and then what the fuck is this? And there was no plan. There wasn't a connecting. Like if you have 3 episodes, have a basic line. Like even a paragraph of what's going to happen. And at the same time, it was a cash grab because they wanted to do it every 2 years, and in between, they would have Rogue One and Solo. Now, the Last Jedi came out for Christmas. Was it 17?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 16. No, 17.
Yeah, it was 17, because Force Awakens, I guess, was the end of 15. So it was 17. And then Rogue One came out at Christmas as well, in between Force Awakens and the Last Jedi. But they decided to put out Solo in May, which was only 5 months. And
it had to compete against a bunch of other movies too, didn't it?
I think so, yeah. But the sting of The Last Jedi was so raw that people just said no, enough. And Solo is the first Star Wars project that lost money. Even the holiday special from 1978, it was more successful than The Last Jedi. I'm just being.
Well, the thing is, they pointed out, and that's where the fan backlash took to social media, and the ratioing became destructive to their future. And then Lucasfilm started calling us racist, homophobes, bigots, and so on and so forth because we didn't like their woke trash.
Yeah. No, it's gone. It'll come back to me. I've had an epic night. I've only had 20 minutes sleep. I'm doing well. Yeah, like there were people that thought it was the brilliant thing, and then you talk to people. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was referred to as a Russian agent because I was against The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I know. I've been called every name under the sun because I didn't like it either.
Yeah, I've been called a phobe. Well, I had someone's like, you can't let it go. It's like I invested 38 years of my life. I can't just let it go because Star Wars is not a religion, but it's it's a form of religion. Like I like to tell people, you don't need to read the Bible. Just watch Yoda in The Empire Strikes Back, and you get all the premise there.
Right, exactly.
We aren't these crude beings. We are bodies of light, luminous.
Yes. Luminous are we?
Yes. Dear. Apparently someone wants me to do a Scottish accent. Well, I say to you, no, I will not. You're going to Scotland. Yeah, do a bit of plugs for yourself. Well, when are you going to Scotland, laddie?
And if somebody gives a big enough rumble rant, Montey will wear a kilt live on screen.
Yes. Answer the question. When are you going to Scotland?
Our world is controlled by idiots. Yes, it is. Owned by psychopath, run by idiots.
Yeah. And you chose to be here.
So getting back to Kurtzman Trek versus Star Wars, and how they both have gone down the destructive path of shitty storytelling, bad graphics, and fan attacks. Okay? I really wait the time where business journals talk about the failures of wokedom, the economic disasters they created by attacking their fans, and the unique, weird, woke freak things we saw where they thought it would make money and they threw billions and billions and billions of dollars at it, and just their ego couldn't accept. I wait for the time that's written in the economic books, or the infinite amount of times where people instantly went out, this is the time of attack the fans, and how that's always backfired against them.
Oh, yeah. Like, really? Why insult your customers? What marketing strategy is that?
It's called fan baiting, something Disney invented in 2015 and 2016 because they realized what was going on with their Star Wars and Marvel movies that were about to come up. Fan baiting is a real thing, real created. Look it up. Okay?
Well, the day that Solo released its gross, like its tally,
yeah,
if you remember, was the same day that Kelly Marie Tran wiped her Instagram.
Who's Kelly Marie Tran? Oh,
she played Rose Tico.
Yeah. Which they totally wasted that character's beauty and talent.
Yeah, well, in The Last Jedi, yeah, like we don't. What is it? We don't kill. What is that stupid line? We don't die. We keep. We save the things we love, or something. It's like
Yeah.
what? What logic are you? Like he's sacrificing himself to save everyone in the base, and she knocks out of it because she's horny, and gives him a kiss, and then passes out.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then all the people that loved Rose Tico, all four of them, cracked the shits, Australian term, because she was sidelined in the next film.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she's
Again,
playing
shitty writing with no foresight to how that shitty writing would not just anger fans, but make that intellectual property completely devalued. And the fact that no one in the inside of the studio could recognize that tells you how fucked up Hollywood is, to the point where it can't recognize the $1 billion disaster coming, and disaster after disaster after disaster after disaster.
Yeah, how long? Like, as I said, like, you know, I'm weary. How long do we have to deal with this? And we're only talking about the entertainment side of things,
Right.
And you can see it because Phase 4 of Marvel has just basically sunk itself. DC is trying to do stuff, but just the debacle with. I liked Black Adam. I enjoyed it. It's a comic book. Now, remember, I'm that age where I remember seeing The Flash in 1988. So I'm happy that Black Adam would work. And then right at the end, you have Henry Cavill come back as Superman, which they kept secret. And everyone, I nearly cried when I saw that because everyone wants Henry. Less than 3 months, he's fired. In a way, he's fired because they James Gunn and I think you know the other guy, whoever's bringing in, they want to reboot the whole DC thing, and so Henry is going to miss out.
There's more to that story.
Okay.
There's a lot more to that story, and it has to do with the fact that Warner Brothers is probably going to be sold to a bigger studio, or they're going to buy another studio. And if so, the money that's going to come to it is going to want to produce their own version of that. So they've reverted back to just producing the one-off movies instead of the big trilogies.
Yeah.
Okay. And once they announced they were going to redo Lord of the Rings and kill Amazon's Rings of Power, what we began to realize is Warner Brothers has secured funding for the next 10 years to do movies under the vise that none of it is woke. And James Gunn is there to oversee the time it takes to get the woke garbage out of the lineup and replaced.
Well, yeah, because he got canned his pedophilia jokes,
Right.
and he's still there. It's Hollywood is weird, and someone obviously sat down and said, like, yeah, can you stop now? It's just wrong. I know you find it funny, however. Because if I say a racist joke, no one will talk to me. But if I say a pedophile joke, I get promoted and start running DC. You'll have to send me a kilt. I wear shorts all the time. I am part Scottish, so I'm totally fine with that. I'm part of the Thompson clan without the P.
I will send you a kilt.
Yeah, good. Good luck trying to find my address. But anyway, yes, my great grandmother, I think, was Scottish, and my great grandfather was Welsh. So my genetics are English, which could mean anything. Scottish, Welsh, with a hint of Polish. I'm a 16th Polish. And ladies, I'll show you what that is later.
It's Polish sausage.
Oh, rather. Oh, hello. Here's a question for you by Bethy77. How the hell did woke start up anyway? Address me as a tree today. Crazy shit. In the timeline, it was building up, but the big, like the first big one was 2016, and that would have been the female version of Ghostbusters.
Right.
That was the shot across the bow. There was building up where it was crazy. Like this is after Gamergate and all that crap. But yeah, 2016 is when it sort of hit mainstream. And
remember, movies take 4 years, 3 to 4 years to be built, and it was that previous 3 years where all the high-level writers, because of the Screen Actors Guild, had a strike, and the Writers Guild had a strike, and then after the strike, they started not hiring anyone that was in the SCAG Guild or people that were much cheaper, and they started replacing it with diversity, equity, inclusionary hirees who had no film experience, no writing experience, and no talent.
Yeah, not storytellers at all, just
Right.
activists. And you can tell where, and that's like, you'll be happy to know that She-Hulk isn't getting its second season.
Oh yeah, and I really hope Jessica Gao, the lady that does that, gets what she deserves for baiting the fans and admitting she baited the fans in a what was it, a $300 million production for all those, something like crazy like that. I hope that the bean counters at Hollywood never give her another big title ever.
Yeah, I mean, I know a couple of people that enjoyed it, but it wasn't because it was the story and what was being said. It was like, oh, this is going to piss off all those homophobic, lonely guys in their mum's basements. Like, do you really need it? You want the show to do that, or do you want a good story? You could still piss them off by having a good story.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
Unfortunately, they don't know what good story writing is. They don't know what good filmography is because they're not fans of TV. And they don't think every production they're going to do is going to be $1 billion hit. Okay?
Yeah, because they're on the right side of history.
Right. Well, you're not on the right side of history. You're on the opposite side of history. You're de-evolving history.
The regressive, not progressive. Where remember, African Americans should have their own national anthem. They should have their own drink fountains. They should have this. They should have that. And
that's segregation.
Yeah, I know. It's like people fought against that. Like, it's the same thing here in Australia. You got the Voice, where they want a representative in Parliament to have a voice for the Aboriginal people.
Yep.
Why? Like, they're only 3% of the population. Not to degenerate, dump on them, but there is a Ministry for Aboriginal Affairs. Why can't they do it? We're all Australians. And, here's an idea. How about a treaty?
Yeah, a treaty that means nothing is worse than toilet paper.
Well, no, you can address all the problems, and basically, because here in Australia, they're the only group of people that are ostracized. We're multicultural, but the original inhabitants are the ones that are pushed out to the side. Apparently, $30 billion goes to the Aboriginals, which is news to the Aboriginals because they don't see it.
They don't see it.
And all that is just pandering because they know it's wrong. It's even what was it? The British Parliament in 1836 did an audit, in a sense, and the Australian Aboriginal was the worst treated British subject, but they weren't subjects then because they still think they were animals and blah 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 and all that stupidity. New Zealand has a treaty with the Maoris because they basically were pissed off and stopped the English. They didn't defeat the English, but they stopped them. And the British are like, maybe we should talk to them. Maybe we can sign.
Maybe we should definitely talk to them. Think about that.
Yeah, and now also, I know you haven't brought it up, but I'm sure some people are yelling at the screen, but there's treaties with the First Nations in the United States. It's like, back then. And of course, they were ignored, but at least there was a treaty. And if you have a treaty today, you can't really go back on it because everyone can see it.
Yeah, you can. Sure. They go back on treaties all the time.
Well, yeah, I know. I know what the planet we're on. Well, that was part of the conversation last night as well. Yeah, but we're on a planet of free will. And that's kind of how not to end the conversation, but you get to a point of the conversation like, why does this happen, free will? and psychopaths own us, and we're run by idiots. And very quickly, Andrew, if you want to delve into that, give me a 30-second report on the divide between the psychopaths and the idiots.
Ooh. The idiots have gained a little bit of wisdom at how psychopathic the psychopaths are. And are now serving up lower end people to the psychopaths as the people who are making the mistakes for Agenda 2020 not working, for the coup failure, and for all that. So they're giving their upwardly failing scapegoats.
Okay. Yeah. Because I don't see anything where, I mean, there are people saying, I mean, lately the subject that's out on the radar is 15-minute cities. And as I pointed out, I have friends that are further than 15 minutes. It doesn't make sense. People like to travel. I have a friend who's a 2-hour drive from here. How is a 15-minute city going to work? Like, you basically have to end, it's...
Well, that's all World Economic Forum garbage. That's all garbage coming from the World Economic Forum.
Yeah, it's they're in their own dream bubble. I knew for whatever reason. Back in the day, I used to watch things, so you didn't have to. But I watched the inauguration of. I know I'm saying that wrong. But when Joe Biden became president, in front of nobody.
Nobody. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, just they believe they defeated Satan.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's not Satan.
The Great Orange Satan.
We must destroy the Great Orange. The Orange will come towards us. And it just their belief structure, and that's what I knew. At least the higher ups, the echelon of the DNC, are completely out of touch with reality.
That's right.
So it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I know people now that still have Trump derangement syndrome. It's like, it's been, what, 2 years, 3 years?
Right. Even when he's dead, you still have Trump derangement syndrome.
Oh, yeah. But it's like how the hypocrisy of ignoring what Biden's done.
Right.
Just one example. He keeps sniffing and groping children in front of recording cameras. How, and Trump's worse than that?
Yeah, he just can't stop. Can't stop the sniffing.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at footage of him 10 years ago, it's like, this clone looks crap. He's obviously had a facelift or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had work done. He looks different. He sounds different. It could be the dementia and anything else like that. He's fallen upstairs twice. And the first time, it was a breeze. That makes it worse.
Yes. If a breeze knocks you over.
Yeah. And I had mentioned this before off air, but have you noticed they don't the term, even I think it's stopped with Trump. Trump was a lot of precedent was done with Trump, like even attacking him, and like, because now they attack the office instead of the man. It means for the rest of history you can do that. You do not hear leader of the free world anymore.
Nope. Well, the woke doesn't want that.
No,
the woke does not want a leader of the free world. They don't want that as a terminology because America's bad.
Yeah, even though they live there.
Exactly.
Oh,
America's bad.
Have you seen? Oh yeah, those memes are great. I went to a petting zoo yesterday. That was an elementary school, Joe. And it wasn't. There's a quote from Obama saying, what was it? Do not underestimate the way that Joe could fuck something up.
I don't know the quote.
Oh, it's basically Obama bad mouthing Biden, And that's the other thing. Oh, the election wasn't stolen. Yeah, so you're telling me a aging pedophile with dementia that stayed in his basement for 75% of the election got more votes than Barack Obama, the first half-black man who became president. See, I'm not challenging that Obama got all those votes. Second time maybe, but the first time, like, yeah. And also, if you remember, I put forward a theory that Trump was basically the Republican Obama.
Yes, he was the Republican Obama because he was more progressive than he was the Republican.
Yeah, and also, he sort of, by the way that he spoke and he's, in a way,
the policies, exactly, the actual policies.
Yeah, he swindled, not swindled, but he got into power because he was a certain way as Obama, and then completely changed. It was a bait and switch, I think that's the term. And that, I sort of was wondering about Trump because I did like Trump for the first 7 weeks. I did like Trump because he kept his promises,
right,
which is extremely rare. And to sort of misquote a Bill Hicks routine, I think he had a meeting around about 7 weeks in, and he stopped fulfilling his promises.
Wait, they basically told him, "You're going to kill you if you don't do what we want."
Yeah. The president walks into a darkened room where there's 12 men sitting around a large table, all smoking cigars, and there's smoke filling the room. And then a small film screen lowers, and it's showing the JFK assassination from an angle that you've never seen yet. Yep. And then the film stops, and the guy at the head of the table is like, "Any questions?" And then, the president says, "What's my agenda?"
Yeah, what's my agenda exactly?
Yeah. No, it's not exactly the same, but you can. Yeah, it's. How long have we been doing this? What is it? I keep forgetting. That's why I know we're roughly the experiment's been going for 50 million years, but what's the latest epoch with the shit that we're going through? 200,000? 30,000? No, I can't remember.
No, 465,000 years. Roughly, this extreme negative energy harvesting is about 460,000 years.
Yeah, so nearly 500,000 years. You can see why we're weary. That's the interesting. With all the energies and the placement of the planets and going through the Futon belt. Yes, I know. I think humanity's the souls know. Even if there's an unconscious part of the soul, if I can say it that way, we're weary and we know, and it's like enough.
How old are you guys to be in Earth years? I am now I will be celebrating my 2nd anniversary of my 47th birthday.
I'm 21. I have been 16 for many a year now, but I've actually decided to grow up and be 21.
So yes, that's how old we are.
Yes. Also, if you look back in the stream, we did say the year we're born and basic maths. But yeah, the class of our year. I'm just going to be cheeky now because someone didn't do their maths. I do find it fascinating. A small group of people, the class of that year. You're like this, Andrew. I don't think I've told you. I've got a Facebook event for my birthday party, which is in about 7 days, next Saturday, and it's like I'm turning, never you mind, years old.
Right. So if you are in Melbourne, Australia, and want to go to Montey's birthday party, go to his Facebook page and say, "Yes, I am attending."
Yeah, because it is a public venue. Anyone is allowed. It's nowhere near my house. It's the Bendigo Hotel in Collingwood, and I got a couple of friends that work there. They play music I like. I was actually there last night doing a rehearsal. And from the epic journey that was last night, my birthday party is going to be huge.
That was your rehearsal birthday party.
Yeah. Oh, and the thing is, I can't go. I can only go 50% on my birthday party because the next night I'm DJing at a club reunion, and so I have to hold off to enjoy that part as well.
Well, it just gives you a multi-day celebration.
Oh yeah, one year, my birthday celebrations were 2 weeks long, or a fortnight for those who actually know what that means.
Yes. That's back
So-
during back in the day.
Yeah, when you could survive, and I was playing the game quite well. Oh, abusing weed, but yeah,
Yeah, it is.
that's when girls like me as well, and they express that. I clarify. I'm sure girls like me now, but they're not expressing.
Well, that's because you were locked in your home for your hermit card time, and they weren't able to tell you it.
I've been leaving the house for 5 months, Andrew. Give it up. I'm like,
5
you'll
months.
find somebody. It's like, yeah, but I've got all this data of 3 years of nothing.
I know, and I was the one that encouraged you to go out.
Yeah, and I keep meeting awesome people that just nope, they're either taken or they're not interested, and it's like, what? Why is the universe being a bitch? Yeah, so turn up to the Bendigo Hotel and you'll see a lot of attractive women. I just hang out with attractive women, and some guys will be there as well. I suppose I should say hi.
Not gonna say it. It's all right. Modern era. You're not woke. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm a binary chap, and I like innies, not outies. So,
Yes, you are a binary chap in a singular world.
even that's wrong. Oh, and ageism. Have you? Hang on. I'm getting old. Older. I'm not old. I'm older. The ageism, because the only thing that gives me away is, unless I say my age, is the hair coloring. But I could still go for 10 years younger. But it's fascinating where anyone that's either 10 or 15 years old younger than me, I say my age and like, oh, and I'm like, really? We're both adults. Yeah, I'll stop complaining now. Back to you.
And here we go. We have been going for nearly 2 straight hours, Monty, without a break. With that being said, we want to tell everybody in about 9 minutes, we will be switching over to our game stream where we'll be playing World of Warcraft, and we will be opening up the chat to anybody that has questions. So right now, anybody in the chat room that wants to ask us questions of anything and everywhere, go ahead and start asking us questions. And if you want to join us, you can join us inside the game. Joel will be having information of how to join the game at the bottom of the little crawler.
And I have my question already, which I'll say afterwards.
Yes, you will save it to the stream.
Yes.
So, Montesaurus Dean Rex, we are nearing our 3rd year of doing this, aren't we? April?
Yes. April 2020. It was it took a month of lockdowns. We were gone, you know what? Because we were just chatting because there was nothing else to do. And don't worry, everyone. Once you'll be able to read the Akashic records, you'll have fun just going back and like, oh, they said that. Oh, that's fascinating. Oh, no way.
Yes, 3 years of doing shows, Monty, and we've had some absolute doozies, incredible fun shows.
I made
all
you cry.
All those are available in the archives. I mean, I've had shows where we've laughed our ass off so hard my side hurt for 2 days. Okay.
Yeah, that's the part. See, I'm a lovable prick. I hurt you with love.
Yes. And,
I'm like Nick Cave, where he turns "Do you love me?" into a threat.
Right. And this show may have not been comedy, but it's been fun. We're not doing baby raping lizard wizards. We're not doing super spiritual stuff. It's just 2 friends talking about Star Wars and Star Trek and the woke whacktivist mafia trying to run the world. okay.
Well, yeah, and why do you talk about entertainment? Because I'm tired of talking about everything else. Andrew's been doing it since what, 2010, 2012?
2000 October 2012, Halloween
Yeah.
Halloween 2012. I started.
Yeah, and I've started like my past started in 2006. I think I was on a radio show by 2008, 2009, and like with my roundtable that I used to do, Planet Collingwood. It's like, should we talk about 9/11 again? It's like,
Again, exactly.
yeah, everything is like, and also like with Andrew's material, like, why do you talk about this? Because I've got 17 hours of it in archived.